Good morning. I'd like to welcome everybody to the September the 2nd board meeting.
Get a little closer.
I'd like to call this meeting to order and ask Mr. Slade, if he would, for a word of prayer.
Lord, thank you for being here with us today. Thank you for your guidance, for your wisdom, for the grace that you show us, Lord. Thank you for the blessings of this life. Father, we think about all the things that are going on in the world around us, Lord. We know that there's confusion, there's concerns over the way things are going. Father, I pray that you would help us in this moment of time, Lord, to understand we can effectively make a difference right here in the place that you planted each of us. So help us to use the skills and the abilities that you've given us, the wisdom and the discernment that you give us to make a difference right here in this place. Father, I pray that we would be effective witnesses for you, that what we say and do here today will be pleasing to you. Father, that you will be able to bless our time together. And I pray, Father, as we conduct this governing of ourselves, Lord, that we would never take that privilege, that right for granted, that we would always return to you and give you thanks for how you bless us so that we can be participants in our own government. In Christ's name,
Amen. First, we have public comments. Debbie Woods. I don't guess she's here.
I think this is the matter we have reviewed a few times. Is this the one that has, Mike? Is this the one that has a private road and it has it was a emergency entrance exit at one time?
They used it, yesterday it was used to evacuate people out of North Randall Estates.
During Hurricane Katrina. All right, and this, she must be wanting to make comments.
But she's not here.
She's not.
Yeah, but anyhow, all right. She didn't get her day in court.
All right, next we have Jack on Highway 471, a noise. You'd like to come forward and speak?
And if you would, state your name and address.
Good morning.
If you would, state your name and address.
Jack Torrance, 100 Langford Drive, Brandon, Mississippi.
Okay.
We have a situation where restaurants pretty much turned into, lack of better terms, a nightclub. And it's affecting our whole neighborhood. We've got a lot of people that vote up and down our road. And I'm not too sure the people inside that nightclub are voting, because I understand a lot of them are really underage and drinking. And they've had one suspension as far as I know right now from the ABC, and it's not getting any better. The noise ordinance, I don't think the county has one. Might be something we need to look into, because Bo Cox, who couldn't be here this morning, Dr. Cox is a pharmacist. We people in the neighborhood, largest developer in the city of Flowood, got a professional pilot, retired lieutenant colonel, and he also flew for Delta for 22 years. These people have to get up and go, but the sounds have been going on until 3:40 in the morning. And Bo Cox has had some instrumentation, and he registered the noise. As a crow flies, he's probably between an eighth and a quarter of a mile, and it was between 96 decibels and 118 decibels. 120, you have permanent hearing loss. So I don't know what's going on inside of there. I haven't ventured into that environment yet, but we do have, it rattles the windows of my house. My house is 40 years old, but you know, we've been living there a long time, and this is really a huge annoyance. And if there's anything the supervisors can do about it, I'd really appreciate it. I've contacted Sheriff Bailey, and I've also contacted Flowood, and I was hoping to maybe get some reaction over the holiday weekend to set up some, lack of a better term, roadblocks, because there's a lot of children, young people, leaving out of there that are intoxicated before they hurt somebody or get killed themselves. I think we need to do something about this.
Is there any conditions on that?
It is.
We're setting up a meeting with them.
But weren't they already established?
They were a restaurant.
Yeah.
They were.
What
and then
But
is
they did have some conditions of hours and things like that.
This was back in 2000 and.
It's
been a
I
while.
remember it, but I
Yep.
mean, it's
Yeah.
been a while.
Do they fall under the Reservoir Resort? No.
I don't think so.
Yeah, they do.
Well, I guess they would have to.
It's, if it.
We're not sure.
I don't know if they
We don't
entertain
have
their
them
own,
as a-
they are
ABC
resort
does.
status, we know
Yeah.
that. So, whether they are part of the reservoir or not, whether they came somehow got their own, I don't know. But we do intend to rectify the situation though.
Well, if it is resort status, I don't even know if there's any time on it, but one of the neighbors recorded sounds up till 3:40 in the morning. And that's pretty disturbing, because it
Yes,
happens on the
absolutely.
weekends.
Yep,
Kinda hard to get
yep.
up and go to church and sing properly. It is for me anyway, but, because I don't carry a tune very well, but if you've been up all night, it makes it a little difficult. And we got a lot of good people that live out there, and we should have brought some more with me this morning, but.
I've
before they-
heard from enough.
You've heard enough.
I mean, I don't mean that negatively.
Oh, I understand.
We'll do whatever we can to rectify it.
Well, I'd appreciate it. And there's a lot of people up and down the street that would do the same. And any of y'all that need to contact me,
I got it.
Steve's got my number, and we appreciate everything y'all can do for us.
We'll handle it.
Okay, thank you, gentlemen.
All right, thank you. I believe that's all we got under public comments. Old business.
Make a motion to approve the old business from August 15th and 28th.
Second.
Steve made a motion, Jay seconded that motion. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Consent agenda. Has everybody had time to look over the consent agenda?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Jay made a motion, Steve seconded that motion. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Mr. Slate.
Morning, gentlemen.
Good morning.
This time on our agenda, we have our public hearing for our proposed fiscal year 2026 budget. The notice of publication, the call for comments and expressions concerning the budget was made, published in the newspaper. There will be a proof of publication that goes along with the minutes of this meeting today concerning this public hearing. At this time, I will open the public hearing on the proposed fiscal year 2026 budget, and I will ask if there is anyone here present with us today to address the board, to speak to the board concerning the proposed 2026 fiscal year budget. Anyone here to speak on that matter? Gentlemen, I do not see anyone here to speak on the matter. The matter of acting on your proposed fiscal year 2026 budget is under Mr. Hicks' section. So there's really no action to take here unless someone has a desire to address the board concerning the matter before I close the public hearing. Anyone? Okay. I'm gonna close that public hearing, and you'll be in a position to take action on your budget later.
All right, thank you. Ms. Caroline Gilbert. Good morning.
Morning.
Item A for me is authority to void the 2022 through the 2025 mobile home tax bills for account 23098, as this mobile home was relocated to Jefferson County.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
Brad made a motion, Steve seconded that motion. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Thank you. Ms. Stacy McNich.
Good morning.
All right, under A, an order approving the 25 recapitulation of the real and personal assessment rolls.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Steve made a motion, Brad seconded that motion. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Come on up, Mr. Parker, Tim Parker.
Thank you, Mr. President. The only item we have on the agenda today is to discuss the Central Mississippi Planning and Development has put out their call for transportation alternatives projects. This is due at the end of September, and this is projects, sidewalks, bike paths, that kind of thing. And there's one that's kind of popped out that fits the mold, and it's some sidewalks out at Pisgah High School. There's some issues on Pisgah Road with students utilizing the road, basically trying to get from the main building over to the football field at athletic complex, as well as there's the softball field. There's some additional parking down there, and so the idea was to maybe put a project in CMPDD's call to install sidewalks in that area to try to make things a little bit more safe. I will point out that MDOT actually has their TA projects call out now too. And we were originally told that we couldn't apply for both. Now MDOT has said, and CMPDD agrees, that we should apply for both if that is the project. You can't get both, but it gives you 2 shots at it. And obviously there's some communications there between the two.
What are the matching?
It would be, well, CMPDD, it's a minimum of 80-20. But CMPDD in there, I believe in this formula, it's like the regular call for projects that you can match more and get more points.
What did we do?
We haven't done anything yet on this.
You're still waiting till?
No, if we get it approved here, we'll put the package together, and we can either decide today or at the 15th meeting, you can do a resolution that sets your.
Do you have a total?
I don't yet, Jay. I think it's going to be certainly less than $500,000. I'm thinking in the 250, 350 range for the whole project.
And this sidewalk will be doing what? I mean,
Connecting the schools and.
Basically, yeah, connecting the school to the athletic complex and to some additional parking, and there's also the softball field down there. I don't think, there's not any other facilities.
It's a little
Are there
bit
any other
dangerous.
facilities down there besides the softball field? I know there's a lot of parking that goes on.
Softball fields down there, and of course our fuel pumps are busted and all that, but we've looked at it with Tim and the MDOT team, and of course our projects that we've got going on out there, they integrate fine. We don't have any, we think it's a great idea on our end.
Okay.
So right now, I would just request authority to prepare the submittals for the CMPDD as well as the MDOT TA
So
project.
if this is our only project, we ought to stand pretty good chance of getting awarded, huh?
I don't want to jinx it, but it sure looks to me like it's a great project.
I mean, they got like 20-something $million,
Yeah,
so
but-
surely we can carve out 500.
These
Yeah.
cities.
Yeah, I think
like,
CMPDD
have-
has 7 for this, and I don't know how much MDOT has,
Oh,
but
okay.
I think that's going to be the big call you're thinking
Oh,
about
all right.
for the road projects.
Yeah.
Yeah, this one wouldn't allow.
But yeah, there's a lot of boxes that this one's gonna check, that especially with the school,
Okay.
that's, I mean, cause obviously this could be sidewalks just in a municipality or in the county somewhere, but when it's connecting school facilities, that's gonna give it a lot of points, so it's, I mean, if there's a project that fits the mold of what they're calling for, this is it.
I'll make a motion.
Second.
I made a motion, Steve seconded that motion. Any further discussion?
To move forward.
Yeah, to move forward with it, yep. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you.
All right, back to Mr. Slade.
Good morning again, gentlemen. The first 2 items, A and B, are to set public hearings for the same day, September the 15th at 9 a.m. One will be for a conditional use permit for Kimberly Shirley. The other is a dimensional variance for Chloe Kilman and Nick Blanchard. Those would just to set for the same
I'll
day.
make a motion to set A and B for September 15th.
Second.
Brad made a motion, Steve seconded that motion. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Item C, Mr. President, is a renewal of the public hearing for Brandon McKay, the rezoning request. This is Highway 481 at Harold Road, a District 4 property. We are reopening that public hearing. Mr. McKay is requesting to rezone 26 acres that are at the corner of Highway 481 and Harold Road from A2 to RE1. The original request proposed an 8-lot residential subdivision, with each lot having a minimum of 3 acres. Lots 1 through 4 to front on Highway 481, and 5 through 8 were to front on Harold Road. The applicant has since revised his lot layout and he is now proposing a 7-lot residential development, and has allocated an additional 1-acre parcel that will be made available for the Leesburg Water Association for an access to Harold Road. So we have received 6 calls in opposition on this particular matter. That public hearing is reopened, and I will ask if there is anyone here to speak in opposition to the Brandon McKay rezoning request, Highway 481 at Harold Road. Is there anyone here to speak in opposition on that matter? If you'll please give your name and address to the board.
My name is Kayla Logan. My address is 185 Wilson Bates Road. I live just down from Leesburg Water. I'm, again, in opposition of this. The first reason is for our school. We have 2 full grades and portables. I stated at the last meeting, I'm not okay with the active shooter plan that they have for my son, especially since 6 days ago, Minneapolis got rocked. And one of the ones that died was a 10-year-old 5th grade student. The other reason I'm against it is, in addition to that, the way that Rankin County is set up, from what I've learned or been told, is they build for what we have, not what is expected. So even though they may have things on the agenda to build for our school, in 3 or 4 years when they're done, we're probably gonna be outgrown again, and we'll be in the same shape. The other reason is the infrastructure that we have, more traffic. We have farm equipment, combines, pickers, grain trucks. There's one running the ditch yesterday that slowed traffic down. So we're already having traffic slowed down, and we're just trying to add more, and that's just going to cause issues later on. And the third
one running in the ditch, you're talking about a ag implement?
Hauling corn. So I don't know if they weren't paying attention. I don't know what was going on, but it was in the ditch. The third and final reason that I'm going to speak about is the water department. 2 to 4 times a week, my water is tinged yellow, sometimes brown. It doesn't matter if I'm taking a shower, running a bath, whatever. Someone posted on the Let's Talk Pisgah page last week about it as well. We always have issues with Leesburg water, and from the last meeting, water impact statement wasn't provided. So the current residents and future residents, nobody can tell us what is gonna happen with that water department. And so, again, I don't think anyone out there is against people moving out, having their kids slow down, go to a smaller school, but we're against the development, and we're trying to slow it so that our infrastructure and our schools can catch up, because the shooting happened with stained glass. Probably the only thing that's more able to be penetrated easier than that is aluminum, and that's what a portable building is. So, for that reason, I'm in opposition.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else in opposition?
Does anybody from the school district wanna comment on it?
Man. Friends.
She made a very good point. We're overloaded.
She's correct.
Yep, we're correct.
We're trying to address that issue out there now. We're overloaded with this.
But even if you did something today, you're 4 or 5 years from getting a building built, right? I mean,
That's correct.
In the process of working through a wastewater treatment plant, have to address that first with DEQ. We all know.
Yep.
Right.
What that process is like. But that's step 1 before we can do anything, to move on to additional classroom space.
okay.
All right, thank you.
Craig,
Yes, sir.
I've got, this very same discussion was up before us, a few months ago, and you and I had during our updating of our comprehensive plan, had put an overlay that put more restrictions on developments for the very same reason that Kayla was talking about.
Yes. And others, yes.
And
sir.
others.
That's right.
And we had that in our comprehensive plan.
Yes, sir.
The public, and almost a storm, mob almost, demanded that we rescind that plan. And some of the same people, including Kayla, was saying, you can't tell us or our neighbors what they can do and can't do on our own properties. A lot of the very same people. So we did rescind it. Sorry. During the time it was rescinded, this application came in. So we don't have, is this thing on? Okay.
Sorry.
I have worked to reinstate one, but at the time, because they said don't restrict us or our neighbors on what we can do on our own property. So, this application came in, had nothing to go by. So I required 3 acres. The other one was a lot stronger.
5 acres, right?
Well, on ag land, it's 1 house per 10, if we can get back to that. But that's work to do to get there. So anyhow, this came in,
Yes.
and the water, these people are donating an acre to the Water Association so they can enlarge and have a bigger, better office, and I'm told they already have plans for another well. We are requiring that they have a letter from the Water Association that they will supply water and it will be adequate by the time these houses are built. Tim, do you have that letter in the file yet?
We do not have that.
We do not, so it'll be contingent on that letter, is that right?
Yes, sir. There would be an approval process for the preliminary plat.
Yeah.
And that's where we would require the water.
Okay, it'll be,
Rezoning really doesn't,
okay,
they've indicated intent to serve it, there's no documentation of it.
all right. The schools are not gonna get involved and send us a letter that says, no more kids until we can grow. They're not gonna do that. So, I don't have a leg to stand on, because they cut my legs out from under me when they required us to rescind our comprehensive plan. The very same people. And I'm totally engaged in everything Kayla said. That's my argument. But I've got to operate within the rules, regulations, and laws. At this time, there were none.
Steve, I want to clarify one thing. We did a 2-step process when we were updating the comprehensive plan and the zoning regulations back in the spring. It was a 2-step process. The first action that you took was to update your comprehensive plan. And in your comprehensive plan, that section of the county, it actually included districts 3 and 4 and some of 1. The board indicated in its comprehensive plan that it wanted to better protect our rural areas, our ag areas, and a boundary line was drawn across the county that reflected on one side more of the developed areas, and on the other side of the line was the more rural areas. That part of your comprehensive plan was established by action of this board, and it was not rescinded. Your comprehensive plan, as you established it, is still in effect, and your action that you took to rescind only related to your zoning ordinance. So I want to be clear about that so that there's not any misunderstanding out in the public. What does that mean? Effectively, your comprehensive plan is actually not a regulatory document. It's a document that says, hey, anybody that would like to develop in Rankin County, anybody that would like to effectively engage in some sort of land use in Rankin County, here is our plan for how that development should occur. It's a guide. It doesn't have legal force. We can't say to someone, I guess we could say it, but we wouldn't say to someone, you're in violation of our comprehensive plan and therefore you're not able to do that. They would be in violation of the zoning ordinance, which follows your comprehensive plan.
I got you.
That's a distinction,
Yep.
but I just wanted to make sure that there was
Well,
not any lack of understanding out
The
there.
ordinance is a subtitle of the comprehensive
You
plan.
got it, and the ordinance effectively becomes the way you regulate what you say you want your plan to be. The plan also lets folks know before they get started on a project, before they spend a lot of money, the plan is also helpful for them to review because they can see at a glance whether or not a proposed activity is likely to be in conformity with your plan. And if it's not, they have some very specific things that they have to do to show as a harder sell, okay? And so what that means is that when we see development activity like this being proposed out in the rural areas that you've already said in your comp plan, we gotta go slow on that for the reasons that we said, and some of them have been addressed this morning already. School district, infrastructure, roads, traffic, all those things are right in your wheelhouse, observable issues that need to be considered whenever we consider a proposed development, okay? So I just wanted to clarify that. What got rescinded was your zoning ordinance, and it was in your zoning ordinance that you effectively said, we're not even gonna entertain proposals in A1 or A2, if they are on the other side of our boundary line, we're not even gonna consider them unless the proposed lots are a minimum of 5 acres. We're just not even gonna consider it.
Yep.
Right, so that got rescinded, and you're right. At this point, we don't have teeth in our ordinance that we can say by looking at a plat, we're not gonna allow it. We're not gonna allow this proposal because it's not minimum 5 acre lots. That's not there. And so what you've got before you is something that reflects on average lots that are about 4, I think, Steve.
I
This
think they are.
proposal's around
Once we
4.
reworked them, yep.
Yes, sir.
And
So
and
that-
took one lot out of one of them.
That's right. It's not gonna strictly meet the 5.
Yep.
But it doesn't have to strictly meet the 5 because we don't have a strict 5 right now, right?
Right.
So that, your point still remains, that you really don't have, a legal basis at this juncture. Absent other evidence, you don't have a legal basis to say no because it doesn't meet the 5 acre minimum requirement. That's exactly right. So with that, you've heard the information from those who have opposed that. As a part of the record, by the way, there are a number of recorded telephone conversations from those who called in saying things like they don't want subdivisions, they want to keep the rural parts rural, the school is overcrowded, would be more for the water company that is already burdened, not against progress, but it must be managed. Thinks that lots should be at least 5 acres, maybe up to 10. The houses should be 2,500 square feet. They don't, this other caller does not want ag zoning changed to residential. Another caller, the school is already full. Many portables, don't need more students there. Another caller, don't want any future development or developers coming. Overcrowded, don't want any developers or development. That's the flavor of some of the calls that you're seeing from the community. And I think, Steve, to your point, that the development pressure is putting pressure on your infrastructure. And so with that, unless there's somebody else to speak in opposition, is there someone else to speak in opposition? This time, Ms. Gaines, with your permission, I think it'd be appropriate to allow the applicant to be able to address the board in the renewal, Brandon.
Morning, gentlemen.
Morning.
I need to state my name again.
Yeah, please, your name
Uh,
and address.
My name is Brandon McKay, and I live at 200 Glen Springs Road. Just coming back again after the last public hearing, we have revised the lots, kind of as Mr. Slay and Mr. Gaines have discussed.
What's the average? I mean, roughly.
All on the Lewis Prestige, they are all 4 acres or more. You got one that's 5 acres, which I know this is Harrell, but I know we've kind of intertwined the two of them. On the Harrell parcel, there are 7 lots now, with lots 1, 2, and 3 fronting Highway 481, 4, 5, 6, and 7 on Harrell Road, and you've got 2 of those that are above 4 acres, and the others are around 3.4-ish.
Okay.
And then as Mr. Slade talked about, the 1 acre that's going to be in conjunction with Leesburg for well access to Harrell, whatever improvements that they may need to make now or in the future. And just come back around what Mr. Parker said, I have discussed with them about serving water, but they have not formally, done a water impact study or provided anything. I talked to their engineer, and he was favorable, but again, no formal letter or anything of that matter as far as that goes.
So are these roads blacktop or gravel?
They're all blacktop. 481's a state highway, so kind of like I said last time, we'd have to get MDOT, or there would have to be MDOT driveway permits, for the builders or homeowners. I have talked to Marty Hollingsworth out of Newton to discuss that, and he, again, haven't formally applied, trying not to spend a whole lot of money if it's not going to be approved yet, but he doesn't seem to think there's an issue. The one on the west would be the one he was concerned about, so that'd be the first one we'd apply for.
Is there suitable water there now, or are y'all gonna have to upgrade the system to those lots?
I don't-
Coming down the road.
Right, yes, sir. I don't know for sure. I know that when just south of here, they did upgrade the system for those other lots, however many years ago that was. So I know they have done some improvements at the 481 Harrell property. But again, the discussions with the Water Association have been limited to date. So,
What's y'all's plans on the minimum square footage?
2,500.
2,500, okay.
So, and we even talked about putting that on the plat and not just in the covenant, so that it's, as soon as somebody pulls it, builder or whoever, it's not, it couldn't fall through the cracks because it's there where everybody can see it.
Right.
We also discussed setbacks to where these houses are not right on the road, or even like it further down Harrell Road, it's a different builder, different developer. And we talked about leaving screenage, and that would be as many trees and whatever undergrowth as you can between these houses and the roads.
That's right, yes, sir. On the rest of the board, Mr. Gaines had talked about, wanting anything in his district not to look like a subdivision, so that setbacks, they're not, all the houses aren't right on the road, but they're kind of pushed back, so it looks more agriculture, farm type.
Estate.
Right, yes,
Estate
sir, estate.
lots.
And so four of the 7 lots are kind of what we called a flag lot, which bigger part in the back, and that was something else we talked about, putting on the plat, making the setbacks be to where they would have to have a long driveway and put the house in the back, because to Mr. Gaines' point, just to the south of here, they had similar, but the person that built the houses still put them right on the road, so it kind of, it didn't.
Right, they had the property, but they're all still close to the road.
Right, so it kind of defeated the whole purpose of having that. And then as far as the the screenage, there's, the majority of the trees are up there along 481, kind of around the Water Association. And so, Mr. Slade, you may have an opinion on how to do this, but I think the best way would, put some requirements as far as a percentage, of the mature trees that could or couldn't be, disturbed for, getting the driveways or houses in there. But yes, we did talk about that as well.
So it's currently all this wooded?
The vast majority is pasture. I believe it's being used as a hayfield for the most part, besides right on 481.
It hadn't been used for a hayfield in a long time.
Gotcha.
It's,
Grown up pretty good.
thickets, yep. And that's something that I've been sensitive, since I've been in office, is trying not to take productive agriculture land out. And I mean land that has been farmed recently and that would be continued, that there are farmers interested in farming that land. This doesn't meet either one of those. It's pretty much just holding the world together. And anyhow, I'm very sensitive about our ag zoning, but this one, our own people cut my legs out from under me, and then this one has not been actively farmed, and would not be farmed if it was left unsold. So I'm hamstrung.
All right,
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I think that's all the questions we have.
Gentlemen, unless there's other questions that the board may have, it would be appropriate for us to close the public hearing. I'm gonna make one more call. Anybody want to speak in opposition? Yes,
We talking about the Lewis Prestige property also?
we're gonna get to that next.
Okay.
This one is solely concerning the 481 and Harold Road property. Anyone to speak on opposition, in opposition to Harold Road 481? Mr. President, with your prerogative, we will close that public hearing. This time it'd be appropriate to take action on the request.
Help me here, Brad.
I'll make a motion to approve.
With all the conditions that.
With the conditions,
stated
yeah.
prior to. All right, I'll second.
Brad made a motion, Jay seconded that motion. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Mr. President, the next item under my section is item D, a public hearing on the Brandon McKay rezoning request, Lewis Prestige Road. It's a District 4 property. Mr. McKay is requesting to rezone approximately 20.26 acres from A2 to RE1. The applicant is proposing a six-lot residential development. This was the original application. It was a six-lot development, with each lot having a minimum size of 3 acres. The proposed lots would have frontage on Lewis Prestige Road. The applicant has since revised the layout and is now proposing a 5-lot residential development with a minimum of 4 acres per lot. And so that is what is now before the board. There has been one call in opposition. At this time, I'll open that public hearing and I'll ask for anyone who wishes to speak in opposition on this matter to come forward and address the board. Please give your name and address.
Excuse me, look, choked
No
up this
problem.
morning.
Good morning.
This weather tough. Thank you for listening to us, giving us the opportunity to speak to you. I was here at the last meeting when we talked about the Lewis Prestige property, and all I conveyed at that time was be careful.
Yes,
I agree with the development issues and those type things.
Can you state your name and address for the record?
I'm sorry, sure.
Not trying to yell, just for the record.
Yeah, Dwight Norris, 7873 Old Highway 43 North.
All right, thank you.
Corner of Lewis Prestige Road and Old Highway 43 North. One of the things I did not bring up last time, there's been a lot of things brought up about the schools and the water supply, and that can all be addressed. there's some things that's gonna impact the constituents, the residents that are there, that I kinda wanna be sure we're all understanding. This land that's now supposedly gonna be 4 acres versus 5, and I assume it's gonna be 2,500 square foot. That hasn't come up yet, and I don't know what's been negotiated in terms of square footage. But I did want the board to realize that the gentleman who was here with me last week, there was about 5 or 6 of us from that community sitting here, and I'm the only one that spoke last week. But the first house that adjoins this development area, I think he's got, it's Kevin, I think he's got 14 acres, a 4,500 square foot house. He's got over $1.5 million sitting in it. He just built a year ago. The two 10-acre lots adjoining Kevin on the other side, they're minimum 10 acres. 2 houses are being built. One was just finished, over 3,000 square feet. I'm not sure about the other one because it is still under construction at the point, and I'll have to ask Keith. Can't remember Keith's last name. I'm on the corner right across the street. I'm on 5 acres and 3,400 square feet. So the thing I want the board to understand is you're about to put 5 homes in 4-acre lots and maybe 2,500 square foot houses. I'm not faulting the builder. The builder has to make money. I was always taught profit's not a dirty word. You gotta make money to stay in business. But you gotta be careful because it turns into greed when you cost everybody else property values. I don't wanna go home a year from now and have these 5 houses sitting over there at 2,200 square feet and cost me $100,000 of the value in my property. That costs tax basis to all of us and things that we don't want to happen. So I just kind of want to point out these things, and you know, we're the constituents coming to y'all, and I realize you've probably got a lot of feedback from people that may have misunderstood what was going on, but you've done a great job in trying to help us maintain these property values.
When I went in office, our property values were maybe a quarter
Exactly.
of what they are.
Exactly.
And
So
I've
now
tried to maintain that and raise it up.
Yes,
When
sir.
we do a 2,500 square foot minimum, I guarantee you more than half of them will be over 3,000. That's the way it works. I mean, that's just the way it happens. The reason I put that 2,500 is to maintain and increase property values. Nobody else up here on the board has that in their district. And nobody else is trying to fight for 5 acres or 10 acres.
Right.
I'm the only one. Thankfully, these guys helped me. I wish that you and others could look at the big picture of what I'm fighting.
Oh, we
Don't
I
think-
get it. I
don't-
get it. I totally get it.
It's
I
a
wouldn't
lot
want you to
bigger.
choose for nothing.
It's a lot bigger than
I
what's
learned
in
a long
this
time
room.
ago, not be careful what you ask for, you might get it.
Yeah.
So I know the position you're in.
It's
I
a lot
understand.
bigger than what's in this room.
Yes.
Let me tell you.
It is.
There's investors
Absolutely.
that go to the Capitol
With big money.
against me.
That's right. I understand.
Because
And
I
I'm
don't-
not faulting you. I'm just saying, let's keep these things
We-
in mind because
we
it
are.
does affect those of us that live right there.
I know.
I mean, Kevin,
I do
I
too.
feel sorry for the man, you know. He's got $1.5 million in this place and he's supposed to have 5 houses next to him,
Well,
2,500 square feet, you know.
I mean, there's no way that he could have expected that everything around him was gonna be $1.5 million house.
Right.
Otherwise, he
Or he
should
could've
have
bought-
bought.
or he could've bought the property.
Or he
That's
could have
right.
bought the land
Or
around
could
him.
have bought the land around him, that's right. And he did buy a little more, but anyway, that's kind of the point I
That-
make. We've got an area that's doing fantastic,
Yes, sir.
over 3,000 square feet over, and I assume it's just one I'm not sure about because it's still under construction. I can't even remember Keith's last name. But, that's not all I wanted to point out. I like to see development in the right way. I don't want it to be, don't want y'all to think I'm being selfish saying it's gonna hurt my value. No, it's not. It could help us. It
we
really could,
feel-
as long as we do the right thing.
I feel, I'm right there, I live there, and I
Exactly.
feel the
You do.
same way.
You do.
And I know people get frustrated
Yeah.
sometimes with the way I vote, but remember this,
You fight for us.
my
I appreciate it.
district, I got all across gates and everything east.
Yep.
I would say 80% of the population in my district do not live in the rural area like we do. There's 2 or 3 precincts in my district that's to the west of us that could vote me out. And, you know, I hear people saying we're not gonna reelect you, and I don't wanna say I don't care. I do care, because I want to continue to fight for the values that we have.
Thank you.
But if I lose this position and someone else from the urban area gets in here, it's over.
Which is the very reason we want you to continue
Well-
fighting while you're here.
Okay.
We appreciate you. Okay?
Let me just say this, we will require a water study, a storm water study.
Right.
They've got to maintain the runoff.
I remember your 3-leg approach from your
Yep.
community meeting.
Right.
And I thought it
You
was
got
fantastic.
we cannot increase the speed of the water that lives there or cause more water.
Yeah.
So that's part of it that our engineer will have to get from the developer before they ever start. And that is gonna be a big issue in the future. When
Yeah.
some of these people that are from out of state that are fighting hard to get in our community. I'm telling you, they're fighting hard.
Sure.
And their dream is 300 houses or 500 houses. And stormwater.
I've got neighbors that's been called. People drive up in their driveway and say, here's my
Okay.
checkbook.
Yep,
You tell me what you want for the land.
Yep.
Fortunately, the man said it's not for sale.
good.
But the guy said, I don't care. I've
I've-
got the checkbook in my
I've said
hand."
the same thing,
So, you know, I understand what you're going through.
Okay.
I just wanted to make that point. We all
Right.
don't want to see smaller properties right there against us.
In the future, whenever we have something like this updating of our comprehensive plan, before people get just way outside of what we're doing and have this mob mentality, please read the whole plan. That's what they didn't do.
That's right.
Picked
That's
out
right.
little pieces here and there. Anyhow,
I've had
I'm done.
conversations with others in the community.
Yep.
Who basically said, we're gonna vote Steve out, and I said, why?
well,
Once I explained to them their misunderstanding,
yep,
the last guy I talked to said, I'm calling everybody in my family to come vote for Steve.
thank you.
So there's the problem. It's miscommunication.
Yep.
The media blows things out of proportion,
Yep.
all these other things. But you have listened to us.
Yes,
And
sir.
the board
I
has
have.
listened to us.
I have.
And we
And
appreciate what y'all do, very much
I
so.
will fight to get things reinstated if y'all won't fight me when it happens, to where we can protect
can
our
protect
ag land. Okay?
You're welcome to come to my house and call me anytime.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Anyone else to speak in opposition on the Brandon McKay 20.26 acre rezoning request for Lewis Prestige Road? Anyone else to speak?
I would like to speak, but it's not in opposition.
Okay, that's fine. You're welcome to come forward. If you'll please give your name and address. Thank you.
Good morning.
My name is Rita Harrell, and my address is 1478 Airport Road, Morton, Mississippi. I am the owner of the property on Lewis Prestige. And I just wanted to say that what Dwight just said is not entirely true. Mr. Kevin, I forget his last name, he bought that property from me knowing there was a small, older house sitting right in front of him. So he didn't buy it thinking no one was ever gonna live around him, and no one in a smaller house was ever gonna live around him. So I just wanted to make that clear that he knew when he bought it. I've offered for Dwight to make me an offer on the property. He did not want to make an offer. I called Kevin to see if he wanted to buy some more land, because when he first bought that property, he told me, let me know when you get ready to sell, because if I can, I'd like to buy it. I let him know. We talked about it off and on for about 3 weeks, and he decided he didn't think he could come up with the money right now. So, I'm just gonna say, and I was selling to Kevin for a higher price than I'm selling to these guys too. So, you know, I don't know what else to say, except he knew, he built in front of that older house, and he had no expectation that nothing else was gonna be built there. This land has not been farmed in forever. And it's just sitting there, and we don't want to maintain it or keep it up. So that's our purpose for selling it, okay?
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Anyone else to speak on this matter? Anyone? Mr. President, I don't see anyone else rising to speak on the matter. You've heard from a couple in opposition. It would be appropriate at this time, Mr. McKay, if you'll step back forward, be appropriate at this time to hear from the applicant concerning the rezoning request. I doubt very seriously that Mr. McKay has a lot to add since it's very similar to the other one, but I'm gonna give him an opportunity.
Yeah, kind of like I said earlier, it is now 5 lots. 3 out of the 5 have the option to have the setbacks further back, kind of like we talked about on the previous parcel, with the remaining 2 still being 4 acres or greater.
Are the
Again,
square footage the same?
Yes, sir. Yeah,
2,500?
Yes, sir. Yep.
And just, out of curiosity, do you know what price range these lots are gonna go for?
Or house with a lot, or.
Each lot roughly?
Not for sure yet. I mean, there's others in the area, like the Freedom Farms and even some of the ones closer to the school, that are anywhere in the $90,000 range, somewhere in there. So maybe a little more, just kind of depends. The bigger acreage obviously is nice for to keep the continuity of the neighborhood versus smaller. I know some of the ones along the school may.
So these would probably be 700,000.
I don't know.
Well, if you got a lot for 100,000, I'm just saying, it's gonna be nicer homes.
Correct, yes.
Seems
yes.
like what y'all.
Can you make it for just retirement, folks?
I was just, curious. I just, so letting the people know they were gonna be, nice houses and not,
Yeah.
smaller houses with that price range.
Right, correct.
Right. All righty, thank you.
Anything else from Mr. McKay?
Same way.
All right, gentlemen, if there's no further commentary or questions, we will close that public hearing. This time it would be appropriate to take action on Mr. McKay's rezoning request for the Lewis Prestige Road parcel, 20.26 acres.
I make a motion to approve with those conditions.
Second.
Brad made a motion to approve with the conditions. Jay seconded that motion. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Gentlemen, the next item is item E. This is the public hearing on the Wixon Automotive rezoning request at Highway 471. This is District 4 property. Wixon Automotive is requesting to rezone 1 acre at 1768 Highway 471. The request would be to take it from its current zoning of RU1 to C2. Purpose of the request is to improve the existing site by replacing some of the older buildings with a new structure while retaining one of the current buildings. In addition, a gravel lot is being proposed, but this lot will be positioned behind so that the buildings that are erected will serve as a screen, while the vehicles that they're working on are under repair. The business is currently operating as a legal non-conforming use. It was established prior to the adoption of our zoning ordinance. If the rezoning is approved, Wixon Automotive will also seek a conditional use permit that would allow for the C3 outside storage while it's a C2 zoning context. That matter will be taken up secondarily as a conditional use permit if the board is of the opinion that it should rezone the property as requested. That public hearing is open, and I would ask if there is anyone here to speak in opposition on the Wixon Automotive rezoning request. Anyone here to speak in opposition on that matter? You'll come forward, please. State your name and address for the record.
morning, everybody.
Morning.
My name's Zach Katzenmeyer. I'm at 1780 Highway 471. I'm a little nervous, don't do things like this
That's all right.
regularly. so
Absolutely.
How do you
forgive me.
spell your last name?
Katzenmeyer. Should have shortened it 100 years ago. but
Okay.
It's all right.
Got that over.
It's always misspelled, and so it won't hurt my feelings. I'm in quite the pickle. I grew up in an independent automotive repair shop. I don't know if Mr. Trey is here, but I very much identify with his business, who he is, what they do. My family's business is in the historic district in Vicksburg, so we deal with lots of this sort of thing regularly, so I can identify with what he's going through. On the other hand, my wife and I spent a lot of time looking for that property that we bought directly next to him. Shop was there, it's been there before us. I fully get that, but I'm dug in, I'm not going anywhere for a long time. We got 2 young girls that are gonna be on Vine Street, God willing, at those schools. You know, the property that we bought is part of their future. And, 10 years from now, I really don't think we need another Shell station or another whatever on 1 acre directly next to me. Like I said, I grew up in a car shop. I know how things pile up over time. He does a good job keeping the place clean. I'm not here complaining on him or anything like that. But I just do look towards the future and the fact that if we're growing now, he's at 1 acre, we're talking about building on. He's gonna have continued growth. Why not just go ahead and find somewhere else with more space and more appropriate for that type of business? If he's gonna store, if this is gonna go forward, at least some sort of screening on the back side of the building as well, so I'm not looking at 30-year-old cars when I'm an old man, because I do plan on being there for a long, long time. I also think, it's a tough situation, that's all I say. I hate to even be here opposing it, but if 471 ever grows, where is he gonna go?
Yep.
There's no property behind him, and that's another side of it, the wildlife that is back there and every other thing. It's a nice little piece of heaven. I had to come here to say something today about it. I appreciate everybody's time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
What type of screening would be adequate? You think a privacy fence or bushes or?
My wife is a photographer. We have people in the back doing senior photos, family photos all the time. We can work with it as it is now. It's not that big of a deal, but anything that would confine that acre to one space to where I don't have stuff running over, because there's a good 100 foot of our, we have a good buffer between the 2 of them. That being said, there are antifreeze bottles in my pond and still stuff on the side of the hill that's been there for 10 years plus, which could be cleaned up. But I run a car shop. If I have a table, I put something on it, so I know how things go. But I just want to look towards the future. If 471 was to go widen just 3 lanes, what's he gonna do?
They would have to buy him out.
Exactly. So and I think if he's gonna make the investment in business and all that other stuff, why not take the opportunity now? He could wind up with 5-10 acres right down the road. And I'll say this, I'm in the car business now, and I've heard unsolicited from several people, he's the best mechanic in Rankin County. So I definitely want him on my side and the whole picture. So.
I understand.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else to speak? Yeah. Yes.
I think he's.
Anyone else? Okay.
Hey, Craig.
Yes.
Brian, can you give us what their plans are? The plans are to build a new building
Yes,
and
they're-
clean it up,
They're
make
taking,
it more presentable, more.
yes, sir. They're demoing 2 old buildings and adding a larger building on the site. And then just a gravel parking area in the rear.
From my discussions with him, his intentions are to increase the appeal, the sight view, what you see from coming down the highway. It is a couple of old buildings that are not.
Has he always owned it?
Yeah.
Okay.
That aren't.
It's been a repair shop. I don't know if he's on it.
Yeah, it's been.
His daddy owned it.
Family owned.
Okay.
We are not doing this just to add another part of that same type look. This is to clean it up, to help the aesthetics, and in doing so, I believe increase the property values around it. And we're trying to help this, not make it worse for you. And we can put some requirements of buffer on that.
So this is a unique situation where we're confronted with a reality. When zoning was adopted and the board adopted zoning, the Board of Supervisors adopted zoning for unincorporated county in 2004, the property was being used exactly as it is today. And so I'm curious as to the decision-making that would not have accounted for the use at the time that the zoning was in fact adopted in '04. Should have been a carve-out for this parcel to reflect the actual use. Just, it was an oversight. I think, if you recall, that the area of La Bourgeois, which this is immediately adjacent to, was appropriately reclassified and rezoned as RE1. And that's the impression of the zoning that was placed there. And this piece of property got caught up in that whole RE1 initial establishment of the zoning. And so what we have in front of us is a set of facts that suggests that the original zoning of this property was in fact an error, that it should have been classified as some commercial use at that point in time. It is immediately adjacent to a state highway, point that out, and that generally that suggests a greater traffic load than most other types of roads in Rankin County that are farther out in the rural areas. So both of those together do suggest a greater classification here, or a C2 classification would be appropriate. By going to C2, what you're doing, and by impressing, if the board chooses to do so, a conditional use permit, what you're doing is you're making it clear and plain that it's not going to be a gas station. So I want to just address that right out of the box. Under our current zoning regulations, property's got to be C3 if it's going to be a gas station. So that one's out the window anyway until the board chooses to rezone even farther. And what you're saying by this application is you're willing to go to C2, but not beyond that from a commercial.
So he doesn't need to be C3?
No, sir.
It's
So
conditional use.
you're gonna take up a conditional use request, Jay, is the next item.
Okay.
That will allow for the outside storage in the rear with conditions. And I think that's why we wanted to do it with conditions. And you heard from Mr. Katzenmeyer that in fact it needs to be a condition, as his property is going to be impacted by what happens behind the building. So this is, I think the way that this is being staged is actually appropriate based on what you've heard so far. And so unless you have further questions, unless you have a question for the applicant or about the application, we will close that public hearing on the requested rezoning for Wixon Automotive, Highway 471, District 4. It'd be appropriate to take action on the rezoning request.
I motion to approve.
Second.
Jay made a motion to approve. Steve seconded that motion. Any further discussion? All in favor? Aye. Motion carries.
The next item is item F, which is now further to what you've just done, now that you've effectively rezoned the property for Wixon Automotive. This is now concerning a conditional use permit for Wixon Automotive. So we're gonna open that public hearing at this time. I'll ask if there is anyone here to speak in opposition to the proposed conditional use permit for Wixon Automotive. This is where the board will establish conditions on the utilization of the property. Anybody want to speak on that matter? Okay, Mr. Katzenmeyer?
Zach Katzenbach, 1780 Highway 471. Just request the condition of a privacy fence or some sort of partition between the abutting property of mine and Mr. Wixon's, with a visual block, not just a screen, not a chain link fence, something that keeps the view. from what I
Privacy
look at.
fence or something, yeah, okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And they
That
still
is-
have to go through, we still haven't gotten, they still need to go through site plan
Yeah.
architectural review. So we'll see.
It's good for us to establish though, right at this moment in time, that we do need screening for this property. That screening can be a privacy fence, it can be vegetated, it can be a combination of all of those. It can be a specific width.
So you're just,
length.
we're really just discussing the area where they're gonna be leaving vehicles.
The actual condition, it seems to me to be the area between Mr. Castlemeyer's property and this property, which I understand to be the rear of the Wixon property. Am I right?
To the north and to the rear, yeah.
To the north and to the rear.
There's another property, east or south of it, but it's up the hill out of the, project.
All right. Any questions, gentlemen?
Well, all that can be worked out when we do this.
I think what the board would want to do today is to simply state what conditions
Right.
that it knows that it has, and any other conditions that the staff and the supervisor may have as we move through the process of the site plan review and the stormwater management review. That would be my suggestion, that you would approve it on that basis.
Okay, that'd be my motion.
I second.
Okay.
Brad made a motion to approve with conditions. I second that motion. Any further discussion? And I think we need to, like I say, make sure that we've got something in there, Brian, when they go through there, you know, that protects, you know, I think we can work this out that everybody can be satisfied. You know, it sounds like he'll be satisfied if we get, you know, some screening or fence put up on the back, and, you know, so I think just make sure that everybody's satisfied, you know, with the screen and proper screening and all.
Yeah.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Did you need to say something else?
No, you're good. Vegetation is fine. I'm not a stickler.
Okay.
Just, put some flavor strips up there.
Right. All right.
For the record, that public hearing is closed. Mr. President, item G under my section is the authority of the county coroner to handle cremation of an unclaimed body. You see the identification there. Pursuant to the county's indigent cremation policy and authority to issue check in the amount of $350 to Mississippi Mortuary Services, Inc.
I'll make a motion.
Second.
I made a motion, Brad seconded that motion. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Item H is a matter of house cleaning. Authority of the county administrator to execute an agreement for professional services related to the I-20 Connector Loop Transportation Initiative. The funds necessary to cover professional services have been secured through both federal and state appropriations for this project. The agreement is required by MDOT in order to obligate the federal and state funding that we have received. No county funds are required to fund the costs of the services associated with the agreement.
So who is the agreement we're doing it with?
It's with your engineers, plural. It's with Wagner Benchmark. It's also with IRO as property acquisition primarily related to right-of-way acquisition on the East Loop element of the project.
And engineering services, huh?
They are working on the grade separation piece.
Different.
Engineering services is the grade separation piece.
It's just the loop.
This is the other section.
So is there no way for us to concentrate on the grade separation rather than trying to fund the whole thing?
Yes, sir. In
That's
fact,
what we're doing.
That's exactly what we're doing. The funding that we have received, if you recall, Jay, there are specific pieces of federal funding that have been received.
Some earmarks
And
for,
one of those is specific to the old East Brandon bypass. You can't spend it on the bridge. So we're trying to obligate those so that we can utilize those. That's limited in scope, by the way, $640,000. So it's not a significant part of the initiative, but it is limited where it can be utilized, and that's on that loop segment. So we're trying to obligate those funds.
I make a motion to approve.
Second. This is on I-20 Connector.
Uh-huh.
Second.
Brad made a motion to approve. Steve seconded that motion. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
You a aye, Jay?
Yes, sir.
Motion carries.
Reluctantly.
Yeah.
Item I is a discussion and potential action on consideration of your additional bond projects.
Can we go ahead and just table that and get the school district and, 'cause
Yes, sir, we certainly can. You want to come back to it this meeting?
yeah,
So-
we'll come back.
But we need to, if we're gonna put anything in our budget, we need to establish that prior to that vote.
I know, we'll do that today, but.
He's just talking about
Let's move the
skip it.
school up.
Just skip it and go.
The school. Under your section.
You're talking about the budget.
Yes.
I'll just come back to it.
Wow, so part of our budget,
Okay, all right, go ahead.
Jay, we can do that. We can do either way without affecting,
We got a lot of folks from the school
Okay.
district here.
if that helps.
all right,
Are we okay to skip
Yes.
that
Yep.
and go straight to, Keith's section?
I put it on, she was good with it.
Good morning, gentlemen. Item A is authority to adopt and publish the fiscal year 2026 tax levy of 41.74 mils, which is a 0 mil increase for the county over 25, and a 57.62 mil for the Rankin County School District, which is a 1.84 mil increase.
I make a motion to adopt the, millage as proposed.
Second.
Jay made a motion to adopt the millage as proposed. Steve seconded that motion. Any further discussion?
Yes. Ours is a flat for 25, as it was in 24. The schools are asking for a 1.84 mil increase. And while we're sitting in here, one of the biggest things that were brought up were schools. There's not enough room for kids, and it's not just Pisgah. This is happening almost countywide. And they have to increase their budget to build new schools. They bring it to us, it's approved by them, we collect the money. But it's their decision to do that, and I guess when we adopt it and approve it, we support it. And that's all I gotta say.
Does anybody, no, hold up. Come on up, bro.
Let me make sure we all.
Yeah, I thought you might wanna address why that
Yeah.
shortfall was
Grumpy
there.
go ahead.
Farmer, President of School Board. Where we are today, it's not that we are making an increase to build new schools and all. The biggest thing is the funding that came through with the state.
Oh, yeah.
You know, we got a new calculation now that our representatives calculated and figured out that for some reason we don't get the amount that's being out there on the TV. So they came back and they pretty much, a short view of it, we're flat for the next 3 years on funding. Every year you always have a 3%, 4% increase because your teachers' pay raise step, you know, insurance, fuel, everything goes up, so you always have, we're flat. And there's only one place to get the money. We don't generate revenue, we gotta educate every kid that's brought to us. So where we're held to now is what they're forcing us to do is come back to the taxpayers. It's simple.
How many school districts would that impact across the state? Do you know?
There were 24.
24?
24 that they put flat across.
24 out of 138.
That's right,
Harold Harmless did not get an increase.
that's right.
Why?
I need to ask you representatives.
I was gonna say,
Mr. Superintendent.
our group of legislators, I would think that wouldn't be the case.
They voted for it.
Mr. Superintendent, can you tell us just a few of who the 24 is? What school districts are we talking about that got held harmless?
So us, Madison County,
Mhm.
a couple of the districts on the coast.
Mm-hmm.
DeSoto,
No, DeSoto,
really?
they got about $6 million extra, Jay.
Wow.
DeSoto did?
DeSoto did. Yeah.
And as you heard, Hines, Jackson Public Schools got 20 million. They gave raises. We got cut
The
short.
Rankin County School District, we're A rating, aren't we?
Oh, yeah.
Hines got 20 million,
JPS got an
JPS.
additional 20 million.
additional 20 million,
That's right.
and they're shutting their schools down.
I don't run that program, I'm just telling you, that's what ends up transpiring. I mean, today, you know, when I first got on the school board 20 years ago, we used to have a stack of applicants for teachers. You know, but today, it's changed. There's nobody getting into the school education system, so we're having to compete, and we're having to go out and recruit, and when you're competing against school districts like Jackson that pay more, and Madison and that type of stuff, it's tough. You know, we've got we do have the best teachers and principals and all in the state, there's no doubt in my mind about that, but I
There's
mean,
some of them in the room here today.
yeah, it's just tough, competing today, you know, for certain ones, so. But we're blessed in Rankin County because we have a lot of kids that have gone through the system and have come back to teach in the system, which is a big part of our.
Well, we appreciate y'all being here and kind of explaining what's transpiring or what's happened, because
Yeah, I didn't know
we
y'all,
get called.
I didn't know y'all held flat.
Yeah, we want to make sure that y'all just didn't
Yeah.
think we were down there trying to figure out what else we were gonna buy new or no, but it's not, it's not the case, we were held flat, and, I mean, that's the, next thing we got up in front of us is school of choice, and it's gonna be an issue when you're being held flat.
Well, let me ask this. When I hear these numbers of 6,000 or 7,000 per kid, and then I think about educating a kid for 1 year, maybe that's enough,
No,
but,
it's not.
okay,
No,
all right.
it's not.
We spend 13,000, that's the state portion.
Per kid.
Per kid.
Our per pupil allocation for 24-25 school year that we just finished, y'all, was a little over 13,000 per kid.
So who makes the difference up in, say, that
The
7,000?
taxpayers.
That's right here.
So
That's right here.
the Rankin County people, taxes will have to supplement.
We get a kid
Check
from
this.
Hines County or Lee County, yes, sir.
That's on school choice, yeah.
I know that, but
You have the funding that comes up, if you got state funding, then you got local ad valorem tax,
yeah,
and you got
federal, right?
We're not sure where the federal's gonna be. So those are the three sources you have. So what the state gives you, and what the federal gives you, what left has gotta come out of ad valorem. And that's what when you put your budget together, that's where it comes down to. So if you're flat with the state, you have no increase for the deal. So that's where your problem comes into. But you hear them on TV talking about $7,000 is gonna follow the kid. What do we get? 4,900, something like that. We don't get 7,000 per child.
In that 6,800, 7,000, that the number that I'm sure y'all have heard, just like we have, 27% of that is already local. So that's already, we are already paying that, our taxpayers here in Rankin County. And so, again, our per pupil allocation for 24-25 is 13,000 is what we.
Can we, as a district, just opt out and say, y'all can do whatever you want to for the rest of the state, but we're opting out?
I'm pretty sure they need federal funds.
No, I'm not talking about that. Still receive, I'm talking about just opting out of school choice.
Oh, I don't know about that.
Not
I don't
unless it's
know.
built in the legislation
That's
that
right.
way.
I mean, that would solve a lot
Yeah,
if a
it-
district could opt
Well,
out.
that's another battle down the road. We're just trying to fight funding now. Just
Well-
right now, that's another battle.
I
that's
think
gonna be
some of
down
our
the road.
legislators realize if our Rankin County School District is at capacity, they're not gonna force us to take, but I don't know, I mean.
Well, I think they're finding out more today
Yeah.
than what they did when they voted to go through this process. Because they're realizing when they make that decision up there, how it affects everything as far as the school goes. Every year it changes on the type of teachers you have, the issues that you have and all the students and all that going through. So it's a challenge every year. So they don't realize what it takes because we can't tell that child, we can't take you this year, hit us next year. We take them all and do the best we can do with them. So that's the problem we end up having when they're making decisions that hits us. And the only place you have to go, and they know that, is they're trying to force a lot of that funding back down to the local taxpayer. That's what's transpiring. So that's where we are.
When y'all get flush with money again, y'all don't mind lowering it back down.
Yeah, no, the budget, I mean, we're not gonna turn around, our budget is gonna be the same, you know, you always have a 2 or 3% increase. We're not buying and doing all kinds of different things.
Y'all not
Nothing's
buying a bunch of new vehicles?
I was gonna say,
Oh, okay.
are y'all confident that you've cut all the corners you can cut, or, cause that's what taxpayers wanna know, hey, I'm getting taxed more.
Yeah.
Or are these guys actually spending this money the way it's supposed to be spent? Cause that's what happens, right? I mean, that's what I do when I look at things is, okay, hey, whoo, that's a lot of money. Is that really going where it's supposed to be going? And some people think it's not, and I guess you guys are gonna have to do a better job of getting that message out there.
Yeah.
So.
No, we
however that
do,
happens,
I mean,
don't know,
that's
but-
the thing, but, you know, buses, you just think of all the
Oh, yeah, I'm not-
different things, and you gotta buy buses, you know, because if you don't pick them up, they're gonna have another issue.
That's
I mean,
right.
There's a lot of stuff that really goes through the process.
Sure.
Y'all, the bus that we were paying $75,000 4 years ago is $130,000 now.
Yeah.
Pretty much double.
Our trucks are the same way.
I mean, that's kind of fuel.
Yep.
Fuel's kind of come down some, but, I mean, it's just all the different things that hit us that we really have no control of. Insurance premiums.
PERS. All right, how, this probably isn't the right setting to ask this, but Dr. Sanders, when you put in school choice and they say a lot of children from JPS want a better education, they want to move somewhere else,
Not necessarily.
how
move.
is that fixing JPS?
It's not.
They're losing their best students.
It's not,
And
it's
the,
not fixing JP.
right, that's the deal, is we're not fixing a problem, we're just spreading that problem.
Well, you're gonna kill all other school districts. Some of your other school districts will go down, will have issues. It will make them worse.
We'll start with NIL in high school now.
That's, well, yeah. It's coming. Yeah. I mean, and that's a sad thing, you know, I've always said on the choice side, I believe that a parent needs to have a choice with their child where they go to school, and their choice is to move to Rankin County.
Yep.
That's the way I've always felt, that's the way we look at it, you know, if you wanna be part of the Rankin County School District, come join us.
Yep.
Move here.
So, I know there's been a lot of discussion about kids with school district. Is there a plan in place to put another facility there, or is that something y'all can't really talk about now?
No, I can tell you where we are, Jay. In fact, Steve and I are gonna meet here in a couple of weeks, but right now, we're in the process, we can't do anything. The straw that stirred everything is our lagoon capacity. And I'm sure those of you who are familiar with Pisgah, you know we got a lagoon right there in the front door of the elementary school. We're in the process of working through that with our architects and our engineers of putting a wastewater treatment plant out there. That's step one. We can't do anything until and again, it's DEQ, y'all, so y'all know what that process is like. But that is ongoing. And then we've got a phase 2 project behind that, which is adding classrooms at the elementary school first, and then a phase 3 behind that, which is adding classrooms at the high school.
So, I guess it's not feasible for y'all to tie into the sewer?
There's no sewer.
There ain't no sewer there.
I mean, but like, you can run it down the road.
PRV would have to.
You'd have to come a long way from PRV, they're the closest one, and they'd be way up 43 from us, so I mean, that's the issue that you have. with growth.
When y'all talking about a treatment facility, are you talking about not making another lagoon, but other options?
Other options,
Yeah,
it
I
would
got
be a treatment, that's right, we're getting away from the lagoon.
Yes.
Yes,
It's
it's
some kind of-
treatment, it's waste, yeah. And we've looked at them, different parts of the country where
Yeah,
they run these.
millions of dollars, but I mean.
Right,
it's-
and it is,
It's clean water coming out there.
that's right, so that's what
You can
we're at.
irrigate with it when it comes out.
Yeah.
We know that there's growth, that we're gonna have growth out there, there's no doubt about that. And we're trying to fix some things to help us with some growth, with just sewer's the first thing. Yeah, we had CMPDD, David Wade and those guys go out and do a study last year, and what we've got planned, things change, but what what we've got planned out there will accommodate what Jay and them, say that would be coming.
Right,
Jay Wadsworth.
right,
So that's kinda where we are there, so.
right. Thank y'all for
Well,
coming.
thank y'all for your time.
Thank
Thank you,
y'all.
y'all. Thank you.
Thank you.
Y'all take
Thank
care.
y'all. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
And let me point out, just so you guys know, this is the second year that the school district's been flat funded. So last year, they did go back
They
and,
absorbed it.
and just, kept from raising or asking for additional funds.
Okay.
And stuck with their current millage.
And this current raise in millage would get them, we hope, the following year too.
Well, we'll see next year.
That's not clear.
I understand.
Item B is our request for approval to adopt our fiscal year 2026 budget in the amount of $274,705,588.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Steve made a motion, Brad seconded that motion. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Next, we're asking for authority to publish the adopted budget for fiscal year 2026, the combined budget and for publication.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Steve made a motion, Jay seconded that motion. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Now, I think we can go back to I now.
Okay.
We can do I and we can do mine at the same time.
Yeah.
Would y'all like
Let's do an I. And do you have that list one more time? I know,
I've got the half list.
I might have mine somewhere up here.
I did not bring that list back in.
I've got mine.
Jay probably
What you
needs
need?
that list.
A list of our
That's
projects.
yours. I see Jay's right there. Yeah. Jay needs. You didn't say that.
No.
Mine hadn't changed.
I carried mine out the trunk.
What is the discussion, all this additional stuff down there?
Yes. How do we want
So they added these two to the bottom list last year.
Oh, I have some.
Can I ask you a question about that?
So it says that
No, that was only for that fire district. Right, yeah, we just did it for that fire.
I just was making sure, no, absolutely, I was just making sure that they didn't
So-
decide not to do that all of a sudden, or whatever, so, okay, good deal, thank you.
We have calculated in here for our budget. The number we just adopted. You have all those in there?
So Jay took his leg off.
Okay. I got you.
A serious business here.
So is there any particular reason why y'all wanna take this out of the bond rather than spend some of it out of cash?
I don't have a problem. If it's not gonna put,
I mean, but there's a timing issue, with,
Bonds.
some of the money that we would spend out of cash, we probably don't wanna spend too much early on. Give us to after the first year to do some collections, let tax money come in, and we could address some of this on here. Like the voting equipment, we're gonna have to
That's
bid
what I
that
said.
out.
We don't have to.
Stacy, didn't she say she had it in her budget?
There she is.
no,
Stacy.
not a different Stacy.
What I'm getting
No,
at,
no,
Jay,
that's the mapping, I'm sorry. It's
we
the
don't have to
mapping.
make a decision on it until we wait till we see what some of that money comes in. Either way, on the bond, or we use it out of general fund, correct?
Well, I think if we're gonna use it on the bond, we have to state it.
Right,
If
but
we
what I'm
use
getting
it
at-
on the bond, we gonna pay 3%.
So if I could just offer one thing,
adopting your bond project list does not lock you into actually using the bond proceeds for a given matter. You're just simply effectively saying that unless we change our mind before we get too far into it, this is what we're intending to do. That's all we're doing. And we're doing that so that we can let the bond lawyers know this is what we anticipate spending these funds on.
I just know it's a slippery slope.
Let me ask
We
this.
start spending that money, all projects we get brought to us are legit projects, you know? So, I mean, we just have to draw the line somewhere.
Yeah, well,
But if we do what you're saying, Craig,
Yes, sir.
we're gonna pay 3% of that money to our lawyers.
We've already paid that.
You've already paid, the issuance cost has already been paid. So what you're
Oh,
dealing with
so
now
we
is
already
the
paid
debt
it.
bond proceeds, roughly $36.5 to $37 million.
Yep.
That's now been, that is now on deposit.
Okay.
It is sitting there, ready to go. What we're trying to do is to make sure that when we
We
get
were
ready
gonna
to
pay
set
that
up
regardless if we
the
got
formal
30 million,
repayment of this obligation,
25 million.
that everybody
We paid
understands what
3%.
our repayment obligation is gonna actually be.
but
And
we
the only
can,
reason we did that is because the mechanism we got the funding is different than any other time we've done it in the past.
We pay 3%.
so instead of taking it out of the bond, we might not, cause we can still pay back the debt.
Yes.
You know, or 2 million, 3 million,
I think
5 million, whatever we need to.
The
on
mechanism,
bond.
Jay, I think is virtually identical with the exception that it was a private placement. And by virtue of using a private placement, we now have the ability to literally pay that debt back as soon as 60 days following closing. That's unheard of. That's unheard of.
Right.
Normally, you're on a coupon and you're on a schedule and you can't repay any of the debt for a period of so long, and you're paying prepaid interest and all that. The structure is identical, but the circumstances with it being a private placement are that's a radical departure. We're not talking about any of that. When you talk about setting up your bond project list, none of that really matters. We're doing two things. We're making sure that what you say you want to use bond proceeds on complies with bond statute. That's number one. So we gotta have a list to work from. Really can't avoid that. That's number one. Number two, you're helping your staff organize itself on how it's gonna pay for stuff. And if we don't know what y'all wanna use the bond proceeds on, we can't very well plan ahead and make sure that we capture the funds that are necessary to pay for the stuff y'all wanna pay for out of the bond. We gotta be able to organize the system.
Yeah.
And
But if we vote for it to do it, then we're voting to do it, you know, so.
Well, I say we don't vote on it right now, cause we
We don't
wasn't
have to.
planning on doing any of this out of the bonds to start with,
Right,
correct?
yeah.
Never did we plan on spending any of this money out of the bonds.
What, Sid, you're talking about the stuff that's below
Yeah,
the.
Right,
it's
right.
Below the grid.
Right, below,
Okay, that's
yeah.
fine, yeah. So Sid's talking about voting equipment,
There's really two big ones, the voting
Path.
equipment and the, whatever we decide to do with our energy saving.
that's
path.
correct. Those two are your biggies that are, I'm gonna call those, those were, wild cards. They just kinda showed up.
Well, and
Right.
they could be paid out of the bonds, but we
Can be.
just, right, can be,
You do have the authority. It just comes down to whether or not you want to.
right.
Are those the two we're really talking about?
Yes, because we
Right.
already decided.
Y'all have
on
already
those.
got the other ones kinda sorted out, right?
I just don't have my list, I can't.
Yeah, the burn building, it was the burn building.
Burn building.
And
The extra 15 acres.
Yes.
500 and 250 or something, I think those numbers were.
About 550 to 600 and 250-ish.
Right.
So let's just say $1 million on those.
All right, you got anything else? We got any additional business?
Well,
Well, we need to just,
did y'all wanna talk about the past projects? You have the
Yeah.
list in front of you?
Right.
And we can talk about how to pay for them, if you decide you wanna move forward with them, we can talk about how they're gonna be paid for later. But do you wanna discuss the past projects?
But since he's here, I think it'd be a good time to do it.
absolutely.
So, we met with them and kinda went down the list, and kind of what we all discussed, but what's on here is doing the Justice Center, that would be the roof and new AC, whatever needs to be done there.
Handlers.
And then also the roof for the community development, we need to do the roof, half the roof that's not done. Cause come to find out, those are two buildings put together, and one half of the roof is a dome shape, which that one's been done. It's the flat part that we need to do now, and doing the controllers on that. That was added here, after our last meeting. And so then the other thing is doing the controls here in this building, so that each office could control, actually get some control of their air or heat, whatever it might be. And one other thing, I guess it's on here, the lighting.
It's on the very top of the first page.
Okay. The lighting for the detention center, juvenile detention.
Mm-hmm.
I had them add that on there just for us to discuss, cause it was like 1,100 bulbs. It was probably our biggest project, our biggest
Lighting project.
yeah, that our guys probably have a harder time to do. You know, we still have a good many inventory that we don't have put out. So
Do we know what our inventory is currently that
I
we
think
have?
we have about 600.
I think that was what it said, yeah.
Okay.
So,
Well, can they take our inventory if we chose ever
Well,
to
we
get a
still
contract?
have a place for those to go. We're
Okay.
just slowly putting them in as time
yeah,
allows.
that's what I'm saying, we got plenty to do, but if we do this, just, we can knock out the juvenile detention facility, because that's a bunch of bulbs to be putting in.
You're saying that through the PATH program,
Yes.
those bulbs can be, not we. That's when I'm making it clear in my head, Jay. You're
Okay.
not saying our own staff people can go knock out the detention. You're saying let's let the PATH program knock out the detention facility. Is that what you're
Right.
saying?
Correct.
All right.
Let me ask you, on the, just like on the bulbs, on the path, does Energy, do they still give us a rebate and pay for, I know one of my buildings, they come in and paid us to change out all,
Yeah,
paid the electrician.
You're talking about a rebate?
Yeah,
Yes, sir. So we do all the paperwork. Either you or Keith will sign it, and we'll send it in, and they send you guys a check in the mail.
I
Right.
think we're maxed out. Well, we don't have enough bulbs. I'll let you explain all
The
that.
max on it annually is about $50,000 per tax ID. We were doing some math in our last meeting. I think for this one, it's about 6,700. Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, about 6,100, and then there's some at the Justice Center as well through the HVAC project. So that's the max that we can do for those buildings. And it's your lowest hanging fruit. To Jay's point, is 1,100, about a third of the lighting that hasn't been done
Right.
in the county facilities. The lowest hanging fruit, we can get in there, knock it out, and you guys can start realizing those savings and then capture that rebate.
You can max out at 100,000, but if we
Each
did
year.
all of our lighting projects, we won't even come close.
Yeah.
Like,
no, but I'm
this
just
is
saying
probably
we
our
could,
biggest
We
ticket
can do
item.
it over a year. or
right, do
2 or
one,
3.
at this end of one year and then beginning of next year, and,
Yeah.
and get two rebates is what I'm getting at.
Yeah, you
Okay.
could have the rest of your team, after this year that we captured this one, do the next year and so on and so
Right.
forth.
So the only problem with that, though, Sid, is like, whatever comes after this, we're gonna be doing in-house, which mean our in-house staff would have to be submitting all the documentation to Energy for the rebate.
Right.
Well, have we been doing that already? No?
We haven't been getting any of the rebates from Energy on any buildings?
Unknown to me.
What I'll offer the board is, if we do the JDC, you guys like the process and you wanna help capture those additional rebate dollars, we can just do a change order and include those in if y'all wanna do that, it's up to y'all.
Yeah.
So we haven't done any, so on the juvenile detention center, we'll get the rebate,
Correct, yes, sir,
all that.
correct.
But just know that that number is probably not gonna be very big. It's probably gonna be somewhere around the, I don't know, $5,000 to $10,000 range.
That's
Well,
about
I
right.
just did a 25,000 square foot building, it paid for, 80%.
Now,
They wrote us a check.
they do have different programs, right? So that may have been the small
Right.
business program, it may have a higher percentage of what it's paying for, so.
So there was another discount that we should be getting applied, you told us about.
Correct, the $30,000 municipal discount rider that
Yeah.
we're working on.
Have we got any response from that yet?
No, we're still working on that. Look, that's something that we're handling on behalf of the county to make sure that this additional savings, this is at no cost to the county on your utility bill that you're supposed to be realizing, and we're working to confirm that.
So out of the 3.3 that's being proposed here, I think really there's only two questionable things that we don't necessarily have to do today. One being the controls in this building, and the other, the lights out at JDC. The other two things, we gotta get done, period.
Oh, I agree.
But-
We gotta get, you know, especially the roofs and the air handlers on the other
Rudy,
two.
I know Path will be overseeing the project. Do y'all have contractors that y'all work with, or do y'all put it out for bids?
We're
or-
self-performing
Okay.
most of the work, and then we have a roofing contractor that we have a partner with that does all of our roofs.
Okay.
Really good group. When it comes to roofs, you gotta make sure that it's like anything, right? Roofs leak, okay?
Especially flat roofs.
Especially flat roofs, and if you find someone that does really good work and you have a good track record, you stick with them, right? As long as their pricing is reasonable. And they-
So y'all do the air handlers and AC work, y'all got people that work for y'all
Controls
yourself?
And the lighting, yes, sir.
So y'all don't sub out the air conditioner?
We self-perform that.
And y'all got your own architects and designers?
All engineers are on staff. We've been working with Jay and Keith and Craig for 4 months now on this, so.
Well, I'm good with everything. Only thing I would say is that, on the air conditioner and stuff, well, Keith's got another price that hadn't come in yet, and we hold off on just to the next board meeting to see if that comes in. You know, and then vote on it the next board meeting. You know, which will be the 15th, but I mean, I agree, they've got to, you know, the roofs and that's got to be replaced. You know?
Yeah.
And I say we discuss it, I mean, you know, on the 15th, we vote on it, we know, and we go from there.
Alright.
All right?
So,
Everybody.
the rest of, what's y'all's feelings as far as the list goes? Would y'all rather parse this down some more and not do some, or?
I mean, it's gotta get done. I mean,
This thing, I don't think there's anything, I haven't seen anything on here that I would call fluff. It's things that, like Brad said, that it's gonna have to get done.
Yeah, we can't keep putting the roof off and the air handlers.
go
I
for
mean,
a
that's-
bucket of roofing asphalt and patch a leak.
Guess we'll vote on it next meeting.
All good. And so I'm in the clear. What information are you waiting on, Keith?
I'm waiting on a contractor to give me, a separate contractor to give me a quote
For a roof.
But we don't need, I mean, you were just talking about.
Yeah, but, and like I say, we'll be ready to vote next.
Yeah.
Yeah, next board meeting.
Which one is that? The Justice Center roof. Got it. Cool. Any other questions?
Okay, see it.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you, fellas.
Bruce.
Thank you, man.
Appreciate it.
Additional business.
Y'all got time to hear one item of, I think it's good news. As of today, the matter that you guys heard twice, the request to locate a counseling facility on church property in Mr. Scarborough's district that was made, was New Hope Missionary Baptist Church, I believe that's the name of it, on Highway 469 in Sid's district. Y'all remember we had that hearing twice, if you recall. In between the two hearings, you were sued by the applicant, and that lawsuit had to be defended in court. At the time, we decided, with the board's approval, to reschedule that hearing and allow for a greater delving into the facts and circumstances of that application. So we had an entirely new hearing. We conducted that hearing, and you made specific findings and adopted a resolution that continued to deny that application. So far, there has been no effort that we're able to discern on the part of the applicant to fight that decision that you ultimately made in that second hearing. So I just wanted to point out to you that the time for an objection, a notice of appeal to have been filed, has now lapsed, and there's no evidence that there has been an appeal filed. Nobody can find anything in court where it would have to be filed as having been filed.
That's usually 10 days.
10 days from the date of the decision. So I just wanted to point that out to you. No evidence of an appeal, and so that matter appears to be concluded, subject to a notice of appeal showing up at some point, but I haven't seen it and don't anticipate it.
How does this relate to the suit that you said was filed?
Yes, sir. So that suit was actually dismissed without prejudice because this board, in its wisdom, said, we're just gonna redo the hearing.
Okay.
So that gave them an opportunity to come back and actually account for some of the complaints that they were making in their original lawsuit, Steve.
Yes, sir.
Did we get any rebates from the attorneys back?
No, sir.
Okay.
No rebates, no rebates are eligible at all, nor should you ask for any.
All right, we got any need for executive?
None from me, sir.
Oh, really?
It's before 11
Oh,
o'clock.
crap, I thought we'd be going executive. Well, I wanna say one thing then before we adjourn. I just wanna apologize, you guys. I didn't intend to miss last week, and I kinda.
Please don't never call in again.
Yeah, so I played it back. I sound like a real butthole on there, you know, so, but, yeah, I thought it was a no-brainer, you know, like everybody's already open. And like I said, I wasn't intending to miss, and
Nobody knew the details.
that's what I'm saying, yeah, I dropped the ball.
This would be, I'm sorry,
That is
Jay.
it.
The additional information, Sid, you may have more information you can share, but Sid let me know this morning that a local attorney, Mr. Buffy Beach, passed away over the weekend. I have not seen anything publicized about his passing, but I wanted to point out to you that he serves as legal counsel for Southern Rankin Water Association. So we're in the middle of that litigation, and Mr. Beach has now passed away. He's the primary attorney for Southern Rankin, was. And so I am anticipating, and I wanted to alert the board, I'm anticipating that that's probably going to cause a delay in the proceedings. It's likely that there will be a request made. I'm guessing on some of this. I want you to understand, it may not come to pass, but I want to alert the board that more than likely there will be a request to continue the proceeding to allow Southern Rankin an opportunity to secure alternate counsel. And I anticipate that if they make that request, the court's gonna want to give them that additional time. That's just something for you guys to be aware of. We do have, in fact, a trial date scheduled, and there's a process to get us to the trial date, and I'm anticipating that this is gonna throw a monkey wrench into that process.
It's
So,
not set till sometime later in the spring.
It's in the spring, yes, sir, but there's a discovery process, Steve,
I
in
understand.
anticipation. And I'm confident that their inability to get with legal counsel and to go through that process is gonna force the discovery process to get delayed, which then will delay the trial. So just anticipate that.
Is there any way that we can let the judge know that, hey, let's go ahead and y'all be looking for an attorney now?
Yes, sir.
I mean, is that a possibility?
I'm ahead of you a little bit, Brad. I anticipate that I'm gonna, I don't wanna get into the details
I understand.
about how we're gonna handle litigation, outside of executive, but just to answer your question as best I can, we will have conversations about how to put up some guardrails and some fences around delays that have no purpose.
So we're done with, Gary Williams, what's the name of that road?
Gunner Road?
Yeah, that's it.
No.
We don't have to worry any more water issues on the last phase.
We are done with the Water Association. That has all been relocated. We literally are only talking about a bill and a reimbursement requirement.
Yeah, I
That's
think
it.
we need to change the name of that road to Gary Williams.
Southern Rankin.
Yeah, no, just rather than, we spent so
Change it
much
up.
money on it. We should name it
Name
after
the
him.
attorney.
All right, I guess I need a motion to recess to September the 15th.
Make a motion to recess.
Jay made a
Second.
motion. Dr. McLeod seconded that motion. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.